For some travelers, fall means foliage, apple cider, and pumpkin pie. But there are a few of us out there who are looking for something to really get our hearts racing. While kitschy, haunted house attractions are fairly common in the US. Some people want to experience real ghosts and ghouls around Halloween. Lucky for those thrill seekers, the US is chock full of historical homes with interesting and spooky stories attached to them. And it's not too hard to find real haunted houses if you know where to look. Today, I'm going to show you the top 10 most haunted houses in America. Before the start of the video, make sure to leave a like. And if you want to see more content, subscribe to the channel. Let's get started. Number 10. The Whaley House Museum, San Diego, California. Back in 1852, James "Yankee Jim" Robinson was hung by his neck for the crime of grand larceny. A few years later, Thomas and Anna Whaley built a house on the spot where Robinson died, and soon enough, Yankee Jim's ghost showed up, haunting the site. It's said that his footsteps could be heard clumping around the house. Yankee Jim isn't the only specter, though. Both Mr. and Mrs. Whaley, a young girl, and even the family dog have been known to make appearances from beyond the grave. The house is so thoroughly spooky that, according to Time in the 1960s, the U.S. Commerce Department classified the Whaley House as haunted. See the Whaley House Museum for yourself via a tour with ghosts and gravestones, which will also soon offer night tours of the house for those really looking for a thrill. Stay tuned to the tour company's website for opening dates. Number 9. House of Death, New York City, New York. New York's Greenwich Village has some of the most desirable real estate in the world, save for one brownstone on West 10th Street. Known as the House of Death, the townhouse is said to be haunted by the ghosts of 22 people who lived or died within its walls, including that of a 6-year-old girl who was beaten to death by her adopted father. Being New York City, however, the house has a celebrity pedigree too. It's said that author Mark Twain stayed in the house back in 1900 and returns for the occasional visit. The house's haunted history is documented in author Jan Bryant Bartell's Spindrift, Spray from a Psychic Sea, which recounts her experiences living in the building's top-floor apartment. The building houses private apartments, so you will be able to tour the interior, but this street is a popular stop on New York City ghost tours like the ones provided by New York Ghosts, which swings by on its citywide tour. Number 8. Winchester Mystery House, San Jose, California. According to legend, the rambling Victorian mansion that sits on a busy street in San Jose, California, is haunted by the ghosts of everyone killed by a Winchester rifle. That's undoubtedly a lot of spirits, and in order to appease them, the house's owner, Sarah Winchester, the heir to the Winchester rifle fortune and the founder's widow, added room after room to the house to add more space for the dead. For those looking for a less spooky reason behind the house's mysterious design, the podcast 99% Invisible posited this theory that Winchester simply loved architecture and had more and more rooms added without tearing others down first. Tours of the house are now open, with new health and safety guidelines in place. Number 7. Lizzie Borden Bed and Breakfast, Fall River, Massachusetts. Back in 1892, Andrew and Abby Borden were found dead, killed by an axe-wielding psychopath. The police's number one suspect was Andrew's daughter, Lizzie. Lizzie stood trial for the crimes and was ultimately acquitted, but she spent the rest of her life under the shadow of guilt. She is now said to haunt the Fall River, Massachusetts home where her father and stepmother were murdered, and her ghost is said to laugh at the top of the home stairs. The house is now a museum and a bed and breakfast outfitted with ghost cams, where stalwart guests can spend the night listening for Lizzie's ghost, those of her murdered parents, or the echoes of the maid's screams after she found the dead bodies in their beds. The home is open for in-person tours, and for anyone who can't make the journey, they also offer just as spooky virtual tour options. Number 6. Villisca Axe Murder House, Villisca, Iowa. The small town of Villisca, population of around 1,252, doesn't have much to offer tourists, except for a night of terror at the Villisca Axe Murder House. Back in 1912, the Whitewood framed house was the site of a horrifying crime that left an entire family, including their 4 children and their 2 young friends, dead by an axe. There were several suspects, including an Iowa state senator, but no one was ever charged with the bloody crime. Over 100 years later, their ghosts are said to remain in the house, yearning for justice. Visitors eager for a taste of the supernatural can book tours of the site, while the bravest can spend the night and see what goes bump. The house is currently open with health and safety measures in place and is even offering overnight experiences. Number 5. Bell Witch Cave, Adams, Tennessee. In the early 1800s, John Bell bought a tract of farmland along Tennessee's Red River. Bell and his family thrived on the farm until they started to see strange-looking animals around the property. Most notably, a dog with a rabbit's head. The entity is rumored to have prevented Betsy's marriage to a local boy and is believed to have killed John. According to one Bell Witch website, the haunting is backed by plenty of evidence, including eyewitness accounts, affidavits, and manuscripts penned by those who experienced the haunting firsthand. The farm and cave are back open and offering regular tours. Number 4. The White House, Washington, D.C. The White House may be home to the president, but it's also rumored to house many illustrious ghosts within its storied walls. President Ronald Reagan reportedly entertained dinner party guests with stories of his dog barking at invisible specters and his daughter Maureen waking to a transparent figure looking out the window of the Lincoln bedroom. It may have been President Lincoln himself, returning to his former home in the hopes of reuniting with his wife or son. British Prime Minister Winston Churchill reportedly encountered Lincoln's ghost too, while he was stepping out of the bathtub. According to the White House Historical Association, President William Henry Harrison, the first president to die in the White House, continues his stay there. It's not just former presidents who haunt the halls of the highest office in the U.S. Dolly Madison, wife of President James Madison, is said to visit the garden she helped plant, and Abigail Adams, wife of President John Adams, is known to do her laundry in the East Room. Number 3. The Sallie House, Atchison, Kansas. If you're into ghost hunting shows, you probably already know this famous haunted house. This unassuming home in Kansas is rumored to be the dark lair for a demon who takes on the form of a little girl because of a family's bizarre experiences there. In the early 90s, new renters Deborah and Tony Pickman claimed they saw strange occurrences in the house, including lights flickering, apparitions, possessions, unexplained voices, and strange scratches, marks, and burns on their bodies. These occurrences seem to have been the work of a ghost of a young girl named Sally. Former renters Bobby and Colleen Humbird and their daughter Heather also claimed to have seen or heard Sally, whom Heather claimed was her imaginary friend. Number 2. Franklin Castle, Cleveland, Ohio. This imposing Victorian house is considered to be the most haunted house in Ohio, and it's easy to see why. It was built in the 1800s by Hans Tiedemann, who was known around Cleveland to be cruel and abusive. When a string of mysterious deaths in Tiedemann's family happened in the house, those rumors crystallized. Among the many people who would suddenly lose their lives in the house were Emma, Tiedemann's daughter, who apparently died due to complications with diabetes. Then, Tiedemann's mother and 3 more of his children died. Tiedemann's wife, Louise, also passed away, apparently due to liver failure, but many rumors circulated that Tiedemann was actually responsible. It's also rumored that he murdered other members of his family, including his niece, a possible illegitimate daughter, and popped away from the house shortly after his wife's death. Number 1. Biltmore, Asheville, North Carolina. George Washington Vanderbilt II built this stately vacation home in the 1800s. Since then, it has gained a reputation for being one of the most haunted places in the state and the country. While nothing completely nefarious seems to have happened on the estate, the home's former owners seem to remain very active even in the afterlife. After Vanderbilt died in 1914, his estate passed on to his children, who decided to open the home to the public. That's when the activity apparently began. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications to see more of our future videos. With that said, keep enjoying our videos. and I'll see you in the next video.